Hi, my name's Raquel Beasley and I'm a family law lawyer and family mediator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'd like to talk to you today about the importance of receiving independent legal advice before you sign your domestic contract, such as a separation agreement. When I'm wearing my mediator's hat, I'm neutral. I can't give either party advice. I can give plenty of legal information and provide some legal context to the facts at hand and the information that they provide me with. I can help them understand how net family property, equalization of property is calculated. I can prepare support calculations for them, but I can't give them legal advice on the issues that are at hand and the decisions they have to make. Typically, parties will receive independent legal advice at the end of the mediation process so that they take their draft agreement to their lawyer and ask the lawyer, should I sign it? What are the things I should be looking out for? Are there any changes I should make? Sometimes parties receive independent legal advice or they start that relationship with their lawyer at the outset. So before they start the mediation, they meet with a lawyer and have a consultation. So they're making informed decisions during the mediation process. Sometimes I'll ask clients to seek independent legal advice during the mediation process. So if they're stuck on an issue, if there's an impasse, if one party is taking a position that may be quite inconsistent with the law, if it's a gray area of the law where they're really not sure what to do and there's not a lot of guidance I can give as in terms of information, I'll recommend that they seek independent legal advice. And they come back to the mediation with the next session with a lot more information and a better awareness of the pros and cons and the risks of the position that they're taking on a certain issue. When a lawyer provides independent legal advice, it's really important that they have all of the income disclosure, the disclosure about the assets and the debts from the marriage. I prepare a net family property statement and support calculations that are provided to the lawyer so they have the context and the background for the decisions that have been made. It's also important for parties to meet with a lawyer and explain to the lawyer where they've compromised in certain things. There may be times when the law doesn't make sense to you and to your spouse, and where you're prepared to do something that's quite creative. So you can talk to your lawyer about that. The lawyer may help you understand, though, what the risks are and why this sort of outside the box resolution may have benefits, but may also have some risks to it. The lawyer will sign a certificate of independent legal advice once they've provided the disclosure. There may, however, before the agreement is signed, be some negotiations that have to take place, as the client may have reason to want to renegotiate a certain term. And that either happens between the parties after the information is provided to the lawyer from the lawyers, so the parties can meet themselves and say, my lawyer told me this, are you willing to change this part of the agreement? Sometimes the parties return for another mediation session, a quick one, to say, this is something I didn't realize or appreciate at the time, and I'd like to talk about that issue again, and we can unpack it at that time. Sometimes the lawyers will communicate with each other and negotiate certain changes and make edits to the draft themselves. I can always provide my soft copy to the lawyers. It's important to get independent legal advice because a domestic contract is legally binding. It's a really important document, and there's an intersection of all kinds of areas of law. Insurance, family law, wills and estates. It's got long-term consequences, and it's going to impact your life pretty significantly. A domestic contract can be set aside by the court if a party didn't understand the nature or consequences of the agreement. So if at the end of mediation you really didn't understand or don't understand all the terms of the agreement and nobody was there to explain it to you, it can be set aside by the court if you bring an application, or if your spouse brings the application and says, I'm not happy with this agreement anymore. I really didn't understand what I was signing at the time. So it strengthens the integrity of the agreement when you've both had independent legal advice. It's hard to say you didn't understand it when you've had a lawyer review it with you, explain it to you clause by clause, and provide legal advice on it. In terms of cost, your legal lawyers charge typically by the hour. So a separation agreement may take an hour, maybe less than an hour, to review by your lawyer, for them to review the disclosure, to review the net family property statement, the support calculations. Maybe they're going to do calculations of their own, and they're also going to meet with you. So that may take another, hour or so to meet with you and to understand your perspective and to go through the agreement with you and explain what their advice may be with respect to changes or edits. I always provide parties with the final draft for signing once it's been confirmed that they're happy with the draft. And from there, it's signed and it becomes legally binding. Certain terms can always be reviewed and varied, such as parenting and support, but other terms are final, such as the division of property, releases of support, or a transfer of pensions, or a release of a pension. So it's really important that you know of what you're signing, that you understand the long-term consequences. It should also be noted that it's important to involve other professionals at times in the negotiations or in your information gathering when you're exploring options or making decisions, such as your financial advisor, so that you understand the amount of money you're going to be left with at the end of the day, and what your budget may be, what your income will look like, and whether you can afford to meet your goals. I'm Raquel Beasley. I'm a lawyer at Beasley Garns, and myself and my colleague Susan Garns will be happy to help you with any questions, whether you would like independent legal advice on your agreement or if you're looking for a mediator. You can find us at www.beasleygarns.com. That's BEESLEYGAHRNS.com. Thanks. Have a great day.